So I was just about to start inking the final part of this illustration, which shows the internal structure of pictures from 3 plants in the Sarraceniaceae family. And I had done the 2 previous parts and the 2 enlarged sections with my rotoring isographs quite a while ago. So I'd set myself up in the studio, had the dissected part of the next plant I was going to be illustrating next to me. I got my rotoring pen out, my 0.10. I tested it on a piece of paper and it was fine, just wiped the nib a little bit and then put it down. And then when I was ready to start drawing, I picked up the pen, just moved it across to my hand, and what happened? These 2 drops of ink landed on the paper, and I haven't had a spillage this significant on a piece of work for a very, very long time. And this piece of work needs to be finished very quickly because it's going into an exhibition soon. So I just took a deep breath and thought, right, okay, let's deal with this. So I wanted to share with you how I did deal with it, because it is quite a serious mistake, and it's right in the centre of the illustration. So the first stage is I've got a tissue from a box of soft tissues, and I just got the corner of the tissue and soaked up the excess ink from the blob without smudging it. Okay, so this is really important. Do not smudge it. Just try and soak up the ink as much as you can. Then the next stage is to let it dry. Now, what I did, because I needed to get on with this illustration quickly, I actually used my hairdryer, not on the hottest setting, but on sort of like a medium setting, and dried this area of the paper. And then made sure it was dry completely. But then what I did was, once it was dry, I just left the paper to cool down a little bit before I did anything else to it. Then I got out a clean round bladed scalpel. So it's really important that when you do this, you use a round bladed scalpel, because you're going to use that curved edge to scrape away some of the paper surface where the ink blob had landed. Now, if you do it with a pointed scalpel, it's easy to nick a larger area of the paper and bring up more paper fibres than you need to. So I've got a small bladed, round bladed scalpel here. You can get slightly bigger blades, but as long as it's round, that's absolutely fine. Okay. Then the next stage is scraping away the paper fibres where the ink has dropped onto the paper. And this I'm going to show you in the next video. Make sure you have the scalpel held comfortably in your hand, and then with the edge of the curved area of the blade, just scrape away at the paper surface in one direction very slowly. Now this video is sped up just a little bit, 0.5. It's not sped up too much. Now, when the loose paper fibres then start coming off, blow them away, okay, or use a soft brush to move them away. Do not use your hands, because if you've got any grease or marks on your hands, that can easily be absorbed by the raw sort of surface of the paper where you've scraped it away. Carry on scraping. As I progress, I then start moving the blade in the other direction as well. So I'm scraping backwards and forwards. Quite small scrapes at the moment, not too large at all. But as I progress even further, I then do longer strokes with the scalpel blade. And you will see that the paper is becoming much, much cleaner now. Now, this can really only be done on really good quality paper that is of a suitable thickness. Now, this is Strathmore Bristol plate surface 500 series. It's 100% cotton and highly archival. And it really does take sort of corrections like this really, really well. So you can see longer strokes with the scalpel blade, but I've virtually got rid of the mark altogether. On the video itself, it looks as though it's gone completely. There is, you can, when you move the paper, you can see how it's actually just had its surface scraped away a little bit in certain lights. But we'll help rectify that a little bit more in a moment. So then I move on to the second ink blob and do exactly the same. So small strokes. I'm going backwards and forwards here with the scalpel because it's a smaller area. But again, then I start doing larger strokes, and you can see that the ink has disappeared from the surface of the paper. Again, blowing away the fibres from the paper that are brought up. I think you see me once holding my hand, using my hand, but blowing away the fibres or using a soft brush is much, much better. Okay, just being absolutely sure on the area where that largest ink blob was. And remember, I'm using the curve of the scalpel blade. I'm not using the very point. Now, that area looks fairly clean. What I now need to do is soften down those fibres and make that paper really smooth. So I'm using a piece of glassine paper, and I'm using a tool that is like a agate stone, a burnisher, I think they call it, and it's on a handle. And so I'm just checking there with the tip of my finger how smooth the paper surface is. And what this does is you're pressing down on the glassine paper and you're pushing down those paper fibres so it's nice and smooth. So and here I'm just seeing little specks that I'm just scraping away very, very carefully. Yeah, so just pressing them down again, being doubly sure. Okay, and there we are. So I'm really pleased with how that's worked out, and yeah, that's it.